I had the idea to read a letter that I wrote to my dad back in 1993, and then read the letter that he wrote me. And I'm also intending to ask him if he will read the letters aloud on camera as well. I want to potentially share this with other men who might have father issues, and let them know that it's okay to deal with those and confront it. Dad and I's relationship is very different. Mom's gone. Mom's gone, and I think about when he's going to be gone. And I realize how grateful I am that these letters happened before that, so that we could go through that in a different way. Dear Dad.
Dear Dad.
On Father's Day, instead of calling you or sending you anything, I wrote a letter to you in my journal that I never intended to send. Now I'm writing it again because I realize I need to send it. About 2 weeks before Father's Day, I bought 3 cards for you. They were all very sarcastic and not very loving. I guess it would be okay to joke about our relationship if it weren't so sad for me. I'm starting to realize that all my life I've joked about things that made me uncomfortable. I felt really weird about this past Father's Day. I know part of it was the anxiety I felt about not doing anything for you.
But I couldn't bring myself to pick up the phone and talk about nothing. I wish I could call and feel like telling you how much I love you and how much you mean to me. But I didn't feel like doing that. That's why I'm writing this letter.
I've wanted to do this for some time, but I've been scared. I'm not scared of you physically anymore, but I used to be. I used to be terrified. As absurd as it may seem, what I'm scared of now is losing what little relationship with you that I do have.
I'm not sure if I'm holding on to some illusions or if I'm aware of the good things you did for me, because there are some memories I'm very thankful for. In fact, the time I called you after Tanya and I broke up is a time I'll never forget. I was a basket case, and you came over, and we drove around, and you talked to me.
You told me about stuff that had happened to you, and I really felt loved. It was like I was hearing you talk for the very first time. I didn't know it all my life, but I needed a lot more of that. That's why I'm writing you this letter.
We may never have the kind of relationship I dream of having with you, but that's okay. I have to try anyway. If I don't try, then I won't be the kind of man I want to be, the kind of man I need to be.
I won't be able to love a woman the way I want to. I won't be able to run my business like I want to, and I won't be able to be the kind of father I want to be.
I know that I've never expressed to you any of the anger I felt towards you, not directly anyway. I was reading my journal entry from when I was in Alabama for Memorial Day. Mark and I talked about how neither of us knew much about what being a man was about, or at least we didn't learn it from you.
It was great to find out that I'm not the only one who felt like that. What I did learn from you was how to avoid intimacy by not sharing myself, how to be afraid to try and fix things around the house, how to hold in all of my anger until I exploded in rage and scared the people that I love.
I learned that scaring people is an effective way to control them, and that sarcasm is an effective way to hide my fears and anxieties. And most importantly, I learned that ignoring my own dreams and needs is the way a man shows his love for his family.
What I didn't learn from you, but needed to, was that men don't have to be super performers or super achievers to be lovable. That it's okay for men to be mad, scared, or sad, and that men need to express those feelings. and that it's even okay for a man to cry. I didn't learn that a good husband really listens to his spouse, and when he can't listen or he needs time for himself, he says so. I didn't learn that it's okay to mess up. It's okay not to be there for everybody else all of the time, and that life is not time spent on earth watching TV and watching your life slip away.
Dad, it's okay to watch TV, and it's okay to want some peace and quiet. If you'd have known that and been able to ask for it, you might have endured less nagging from those around you, and who knows, you might have spent more quality time with me.
Not just teaching me how to play baseball or how to throw a better curveball so that I can make the all-star team. That was for you. But you might have taught me what it was like to be loved by a father, by a man, just by holding me and telling me that even if I couldn't play baseball or football or make straight A's or whatever, that I still mattered to you and that you loved me.
So that on Father's Day I might have been talking to you on the phone, even if it was about the NBA Finals, and I'd have been glad and thankful that you were in my life on that special day and wishing you a happy one. I've never been so scared to send a letter before, or so happy. I like the man I'm becoming, Dad. It's a slow process, but I'm more loving, more confident, more accepting, more forgiving, and more peaceful than I've ever been.
Sending you this letter is a big accomplishment for me. And whether you read it, understand it, don't understand it, tear it up, don't read it, or hate me for writing it, isn't going to change that.
What I'd like is for you to write me back when and if you feel like you can, and tell me how you feel. I'd like to know what it was like to give up so much to raise a family.
I'd like to know about your life as a kid, about your relationship with your father. I'd like to know how you feel about this letter. Anything. I feel like I hardly know the man I've called my father all my life. I don't know how he feels, what his dreams are or were, what he's most afraid of. But I do know that I'd like to spend the rest of our time together on this planet finding out. Love, William.
But I do know that I'd like to spend the rest of our time together on this planet finding out. Love, William. September 22nd, 1993.
I cannot believe after 16 years that these letters are this still have this much power for me. I've said it to many people, but that letter from my dad is my most prized possession. I mean, I remember when I first held the envelope before I even opened it. And it was so heavy, and I was like, wow, whatever's in here is big.
Yeah, that's probably the first time in my life that I ever bared my soul, so to speak. You know, the very first time. That was kind of like opening a floodgate for me, writing that letter. Because I really think at that point in time in my life, I really became a different person. The relationship that I had with your mother, I think, improved tremendously. And of course, as you know now, I'm able to express my love to my children, which I wasn't able to do before. So I think it did have a profound effect on me. Receiving the letter was really a really moving thing for me. And I would think that any father who received a letter like that couldn't help but be moved. And I'm glad. Because I'll be honest, I'm a whole lot happier now than I was before.